What's up, folks? Just running through my recent revisions to my list here. So I've gotten a couple more practice games in, most of them in person, which is good. I've got some folks who really wanted to do tabletop simulator games, which I really mean to do. I will get some in. And I apologize to those folks who've been reaching out to me for games who I've not been able to get the time in with. That is a bummer. But yeah, I do really appreciate every offer for a practice game, and thank you for reaching out. So, just to go ahead and talk about this real fast, as of this weekend, I'm officially registered. Registered. As of this weekend, I'm officially registered to get into the Last Chance Qualifier at Adepticon. I was on at 11:59 a.m. this past weekend, just like mashing the button to get on there. Had a link that was cached, so it didn't work for me until after, but I did manage to get in. So I'm signed up for the Last Chance Qualifier. My buddy and I are also signed up for the team event later in the week because we're fairly certain that we're not going to get into the finals. But you know what? We're going to try anyway. We're going to put in the practice. We'll see how we do. And then just to go ahead and say it too, I have no idea what I was about to say. I completely lost it. Shame on me. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the lists. I'm looking at the revisions that I've decided to make here. So this is my Dream Team 1.1, my Scum version. And one of the biggest things that I'm doing wrong is flying poorly. So I've lost Dace and CAD almost immediately in both games, in all four practice games I've played, which is a bummer. And then Dace has done really well, Afra's done really well, and my games have still been very close, even two ships down. So if I fly a little bit better and stop doing dumb things, I should comfortably do better. So I have made some small changes though. So on CAD, to give him a little bit more mobility, instead of Dead Man Switch, I've swapped to the Kira Crew upgrade, which is not my idea. I've seen this done before, but you've got Xanadu Blood title on there, gives you the crew slot. I didn't love the Dead Man Switch. Both times he died immediately, I took damage from that on friendly ships, which is my bad. Um, but still, it's a 5-ship list. If I'm losing him quickly, I definitely don't want him to blow up and do some critical damage. So that, switching to Kira Crew, and then I believe that is it. I had also looked at changing Dace's loadout. Let me see what I did here. So I did actually tweak Dace's loadout to, I believe it was marksmanship and, yeah, we'll do that. Marksmanship and, nope, contraband. Not only does that give him more mobility options, but it also actually uses all of his loadout instead of leaving a 1-point deficit on there. Fearless did trigger for me beautifully in one of the practice games I played against myself, but it's unlikely I will get that kind of pick in these competitive games. So I appreciate the extra mobility, chance to nope out of places if he does end up stressed and in a bad spot. So I wanted to do that. So that is my Scum 1.2, mostly minor revisions. Everything is performing really well. I did want to say, though, that I do have an alternative to this list that has the exact same build, but instead of Afra, I go ahead and use... Where are you, buddy? We'll add a new ship. Here we go. The Mandalorian. Here we go, looking straight at it. And this is one that came up. I'm interested in this because Afra I really like, but she is so predictable. And once you get into a certain point, she just can't move, which the Mandalorian kind of is the same, but not quite, especially with the title, giving you the option to actually customize what illicit you have match by match, which is something, if I decide to go this route, I will definitely have to practice. But he is phenomenal with the child. And this is from a user in the Gold Squadron Scum Discord, so I'm not pretending I made this up. And I wish I had his name. I should put his name on there. And then we've got optics. And one thing that he also mentioned that he does with this is he doesn't just, and he runs this, it's not this exact same list, but he does have Dace in there with Hondo. And so he uses Hondo to coordinate evades to the Mandalorian and just make him ridiculously tanky. So the Mandalorian's ability, just to read it real quick, while you defend or perform an attack, if you are in the forward arc at range 1 to 2 of 2 or more enemy ships, which is a big bubble in a very common situation, you may change one of your blank results to an eyeball result, which combos really well with the child. And the child, you do not recharge force automatically, but after you defend, if you suffer damage during that attack, recover 1 force. So if you are using that ability multiple times, then this is a really terrific way to have force and benefit from Mando's ability because you get a free focus that you can then turn into a free evade or hit. Um, yeah, pretty great. So, and that extra wrinkle of coordinating for the evade to add an extra layer of durability really kind of spoke to me as a way that's like, okay, that could work. I see that being really good. So I'll try that to see if I like it more than Afra. Jury's out, right? Afra's so good, and even if you lose her in every single game, she almost always gets her points back just because she's a ship deleting machine. So yeah, but I'll put both in here so we have them both in that Dream Team 1.2. And I'm going to keep doing quick updates on this as I go ahead and go through my list revisions just for fun, just to kind of review later or just in case anyone else is following along with me. Also today, right before I recorded this, I did see the release of the Battle of Endor. I said Yavin earlier. The Battle of Endor card pack, which opens up a bunch of new options. I'm really interested in the Lando Falcon. That standard loadout Lando Falcon is super, super cool and right up my alley. One of the key things is that he has a red coordinate linked to a red, I believe it was an evade, but it's a linked coordinate. But you can do that because now he has an ability where when you do a red action, you can roll a die and potentially remove a red or orange token, which is pretty great. So, yeah. And also, there's the option when you activate, you may choose whether to activate at Initiative 1 or Initiative 6, which is ludicrously powerful for a ship with coordinate. So that definitely speaks to me. There's a lot of other stuff in there too that makes it compare a little bit more aggressively with Han. This Han is pure damage. Yeah. So I did want to talk about this though. So I made slightly more significant changes to my Rebel list, and there were a couple reasons for that. The big one being that when I played my Rebel practice games, I did have a couple issues. So one was that I ended up stressed with the Falcon a lot. So I'd be in a position where Han was going to take shots from 3 heavy hitting ships, and if I went quickly and boosted, I could get out of it. But then in the following turn, I was then stressed, which really limited my dial. And so in following turns, I often was still stressed and wasn't able to recover and do the damage again. So my first, absolutely most critical change is to change this to engine upgrade. So I get that white boost. That's really, really important because I haven't triggered trick shot a single time in either game or in any of my games. So not good. Whereas engine upgrade, I've used boost quite a bit. So that AC Han thing, that could be issues with my flying, but it's come up a lot more than I expected. So I think in the past I've talked about how engine upgrade is not the best call. I disagree with myself now. So there's that. And then of course the only other thing that really goes with this is I could do hopeful. Actually, that's pretty good. I can either do hopeful or, oh my goodness, actually hopeful's really good. I was going to do hopeful or chopper crew. Chopper crew never came up, I don't think. So that is during the activate perform action step, you may perform one action even while stressed. Ooh. After you perform an action while stressed, suffer 1 damage unless you expose one of your damaged cards. So that's really, really good if you are blocked. So you could red focus and then target lock or maybe boost out of something or there are a lot of options there. So that's really good. I may actually do that instead. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to do that. Try that. But I will keep, if chopper ends up being a problem, I'll keep hopeful in my back pocket as another use for that 1 point. I forget that rebels have that. That's good stuff. And then Tycho. So I had some issues with Tycho with elusive because he ends up stressed quite a bit. So he doesn't ever really do red maneuvers. So you don't recharge elusive. So you get diminishing returns out of that. And also enduring, I ended up in bullseye most of the time I was taking shots. Now this has been several practice games where enduring has not triggered at all. It's not great on a ship with such low hit points. So I swapped both of those out and instead did kind of a net upgrade here to swarm tactics and then also went with mag pulse. So I have opportunities here to make a 3-die attack outside of my front arc, which is good. Mag pulse is really good at initiative 5. Yeah, so that just seemed like a good call. And then swarm tactics, the thought there is that he's going to spend a lot of time around Boudica or Wedge. Both of them are lower initiative. Wedge being, I think, initiative 3. Where are you, buddy? Initiative 4, yeah. But bumping up to initiative 5 is still good. But the other thing being Boudica, Boudica being initiative 4 makes it much higher odds that he's going to get his bonus shot, which will then give him a deplete. Whereas if I'm able to bump him up to initiative 5, he's more likely to get a shot and then also trigger a bonus shot. So he gets the deplete after he's done shooting, as opposed to reducing his attacks by 1 die in one of those shots. Super small change, but the thing being, I want to try it. And then Sabine Tai being initiative 3, probably not going to use it on her. But it's one of those things that Tycho could take that just kind of makes sense. Another contender on there, and it's mostly just that I didn't really think of a talent to add, because I could add Predator, but if I've got Bullseye, I'm probably going to be shooting the HLC, which doesn't trigger Predator. Likewise, marksmanship, counterproductive there too. So I thought about my runner-up instead of Swarm Tactics, if I do change that out, is probably going to be Daredevil, which I do love me some Daredevil. And he's got the loadout to do it. So let's see, a Daredevil is... And Daredevil is 5. Yeah, so that would fit right in there. So we'll see how that works out. I just did this after my last game to change that to Swarm Tactics. We'll see if it makes any sense at all. But every ship in this would benefit from that at least a little bit. And I did find a lot of games where I was up against a lot of initiative 5s, where bumping from 4 to 5 has a lot more value than it would have looked like at first. Especially against Empire First Order, you end up against a lot of I5s. So that's that. Those are my small tweaks to both my Rebel and Scum lists. So we'll go to 1.2. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if you got any feedback for me. And yeah, see you out there. If I remember which button to hit.